just a hack. It's just an absolute hack. And he gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. It's just, it's terrible. It's just terrible.
Welcome back to another episode of the Believe in FCS Football podcast. I'm Joe DeLeone, joined by Sean Anderson, former teammate, former roommate at the University of Rhode Island. And I also got to see Sean this weekend on our trip to Campbell University. Now, we're going to post a show that we recorded talking about our endeavors on the first night that we landed there, which was interesting in and of itself. But as a whole, Sean, I think you can agree with me that the experience overall was a bit odd. Not positive, not necessarily negative, just odd.
Yeah. I think that those that knew that we were coming there, one of the two people, understood the
No, don't say one of the two. A lot of people
situation.
knew a lot of people knew we were coming.
I don't know about that, but I remember somebody saying, "Well, I got you here. This is my fault." So it's never. You don't want to hear "this is my fault." It's supposed to be a fun time, correct?
Yeah, that's usually not a good start when you're hanging out with, and the people that we hung out with, very grateful. They were very nice, but that's usually not like
nice.
it's not a great indicator of what's to come.
Yeah.
When the word "it's my fault that you guys ended up here." That wasn't said in South Dakota. It was, "Here's a fireball shot.
Yeah, it was, "You're lucky
Here's
to be
some
here."
brisket." Right.
They were very confident.
Extremely. And I was actually talking to Brendan about the trip. He was asking how it went. I was honest with him. I was like, okay. I don't want to crap on Campbell too much. I know I said that like I was a little miffed, and I when we were there, and I said I kind of felt annoyed. But the reality of it is that we just don't fit what that culture is.
Yeah.
It's a very religious school, an area that doesn't really drink. So we were the two biggest dipshit degenerates trying to get, drink and tailgate and stuff. And we were rudely awakened by the fact that that's non-existent in this area.
It is a quiet, calm, family environment. Going to see a football game. Gonna have some snacks at the tailgate. Gonna toss the pigskin around a little bit, and then we're gonna go to the game, and then we're gonna eat popcorn in the game, and then we're gonna leave. There's no music in the tailgates. If it is, it's at a very low roar, and then there's not much typical college football action before the game. I mean, the game, look, Campbell's legit. Charleston Southern, legit. There are two legit teams playing college football. So we saw that. We saw a big camel on the sidelines. We saw a little camel on the sidelines. I love that
cool.
bit that they had to bring in a backup camel.
That rule. And the big camel was losing its mind.
While I'm being positive, I have to say, had some of the best bar food I've ever had at that in Campbell. I just want to make a note of that. I believe it was Napper Tandy's. So I just want to get if we're being positive right now, let's be positive. Our host, J.A. himself, was very, very kind. A listener also stopped us while we were meandering into oblivion and invited us over to his tailgate. So
he recognized us and even said that he had prepared to bring beer for us in anticipation of finding us.
Stellar move. That's actually Midwest nice move, because that's what it is. So while we're being nice, the outdoor wrestling was a cool bit. I like seeing a 55-year-old 6'9" giant wrestle a 26-year-old Campbell wrestler that was previously invited to the National College Wrestling Championships. That was pretty cool. Let's see here. I mean, it's a good-looking campus. It's a nice-looking campus. You would be happy if your children went there.
Yeah. If you had concerns of your children getting drunk every weekend, that's definitely the truth, because you're sending your kid there to get an education and to go to theology class. And
if you're a parent of an athlete, you're sending your kid there to learn from a good coach and focus on their sport.
So for anyone who's listening to this show, I think we even talked about it last week. We've touched on a strange experience that Sean and I had in South Dakota, known as the pizza shop. And the only way to describe that experience was we stepped in and it felt like we were in there for 2 hours, but we were only in there for 15 minutes. It felt like it was crowded and packed
Empty.
and
Yeah.
but yet empty and commotionless.
It was soulless.
And at the same time, it felt like no one knew that we were there. Not that we wanted people to acknowledge us. That, like you just said, Sean, it felt like we weren't acknowledged as entities that were in this environment, to say the least. And it felt like the whole Campbell trip was that. It felt like we were somewhere, but we weren't there, is the only way that I can describe it, because the game was crowded, but there was no noise.
No.
It was not, there was no fervor. There was no grand excitement. It was just like you had described it. They were there to watch a football game, get in, get out. And that was, I guess it's on us for expecting that every FCS school is going to be rowdy and excited to be at a football game and want to drink and eat and, do the full festivities. But it fits exactly what we ironically set out to do this, is that we're forced to go wherever we end up. And it could be anywhere.
Yep.
And it just happened in the second year. We ended up at probably the strangest place we could have been sent to.
Well, it was just at Rhode Island, we had some stinkers of games. We had some stinkers of crowds. Just times where you're like, oh, well, this is not much fun. But when it was homecoming, or when it was a game that meant something, or a game that people showed out to, there was a tangible excitement in the air. There was some energy. That's how college football is. This kind of felt like, even though there was 6,000 people there, 5,500 people there, I didn't feel that energy. And I was trying to feel it. It's not hard to feel the energy of 6,000 people cheering in the same direction for a certain play. It didn't feel that way. I don't know. It was awkward at times.
See, that's the perfect way to describe it. It was awkward. Like, it felt like we were and it's because we're just not used to being in a situation like that. We were placed in a spot where you and I have never necessarily truly been embedded for an extended period of time. Like, we've driven through places like that. Maybe we've stopped in various ways, but avoided it. But we were embedded to the point where it felt awkward for us. Like, we just didn't feel like we were in the right. I'm not trying to crap on Campbell, but it was just a weird experience. And we had this really high expectation that we were going to come in, we were going to tailgate with fans, exactly like what we did last year. And we were going to step up the coverage. You and I had this intention and this hope to do one-on-one interviews with fans and ask them fun questions and get funny
on the street.
Yeah. Some funny answers. And I even bought like a portable microphone that we could have used for this. And there was no one to even talk to do any of that. Like, I'm a little disappointed. I'm going to be completely honest.
It wasn't even you or me chickening out for the man on the street thing, which a lot of people do. Man on the street is sometimes a little intimidating, but we're walking around. We're like, I'm just sitting here thinking, would we interview? Would we talk to him? Would we talk to them? No, they're just kind of minding their business.
And it's not like the ones where you see the people do with the BYU students. Like, I don't even think we would have I think we would have just been straight up told, no, I don't want to do that. Like, that was the vibe that we were getting from people when we were.
Which is the response I would give to a man on the street video.
Yeah.
I don't
Sean,
want to be on your YouTube.
Last thought on this before we recap the game, and then also recap the actually, well, we're going to recap the row of headlines that we don't want to miss, which, for anyone who shouldn't be surprised, we didn't watch as many games this weekend because we were doing all this on Saturday. But we've got a couple things that we want to touch on. I think that if we were to grade this trip, South Dakota State was a 9 last year. Don't want to give anyone 1 to 10 because I don't want to, have to adjust the scale every time. I think that this was like a 3. Because there were people that were nice and found us and showed us around and gave us beer, and they were really great, polite people. But the outcome was not great.
I'll go with a.
Don't make me the heel.
I'll go with a 5.
Oh, you're a dick.
Whoa! What's that for?
You're a dickhead.
Whoa.
You're a dickhead. By the way, I now understand why people leave comments on our videos and on our Apple Podcast reviews that we curse too much, because I now realize that there is a demographic of listeners that are from these areas that find us appalling for the amount that we curse, because we were cursing. And I could tell I was making some people uncomfortable. And I didn't. It's just like part of my vocabulary.
Within 30 minutes, I reeled it in and I said, okay, time to put on your church shoes. And that's what I did. And then I don't think Joe, I don't know if Joe got that until I told him about it, but it was,
No.
you
Kidding me,
just,
I'm from New Jersey. You kidding me? Like for
I know,
you have
I know.
to tell me not to curse.
You're all scumbags. All right.
Yeah.
I get it.
Big scumbag. All right, Sean, let's talk about these games.
Can I do the read first?
Yeah, do the read.
Thank you.
We're cracking down on people doing the reads and properly marking them. So
God,
please do the read.
whatever. I was a big fat winner this weekend. Big fat winner for NFL football. I was because football is back, and I was a big winner at BetOnline because it remains my number one source for all of my betting needs this season. Hey, guess what? The Titans covered against the Commanders. They did, and they were going to, and that's just how we go. We make good bets. We win big money. It's always the fastest and easiest way to bet your favorite sports and events like MLB, MMA, tennis, boxing, even golf. MLB playoffs are going on right now. Put down some money on it. October baseball, always fun. October baseball with a little bit of juice. That's a good night right there. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 100% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use promo code BLEAV, BLEAV, to receive your rewards. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Thank you, Sean.
Yep, of course.
All right.
Good job.
Shut up. All right. I will say that I'll bump the trip up to a 4 because I did get to see Sean. I haven't seen Sean in a little bit. No, I'll bump it up to a 4. I haven't seen Sean in a while, and it was nice getting to see you.
Oh, so our interactive experience?
Yeah, I had a good time despite the rowdiness I experienced when we were trying to go to bed on Friday when you kept throwing things at me and jumping on me in the bed. That was a little uncomfortable. But
what are you talking about?
It was also fun going to Waffle House with you. I wasn't talking trash. I was going to sleep. There was no words
you were getting a little chippy, and I had to let you know.
There was no chippiness. I was out.
There had to be an alpha in the room, and I had to make sure that
I was out cold. I was completely out cold.
I was not just waking you up out of your sleep.
Well, I was trying to fall asleep. I was like slowly falling asleep, and you ripped a cup at my head full speed.
I did not. You threw threw 2 cups at my head way faster.
Yeah, you kind of plopped it at me, and then I ripped it back at you because it was
yes.
Pissed. But yeah, we turned into 15-year-olds for some reason. Nonetheless, so there's 3 main headlines that we want to get to today, and if we miss anything, again, it was
get over it.
The travel aspect of this was horrendous, so it's kind of hard to keep up with everything. But there's 3 important things that we need to touch on before we move on to Week 7, Sean. The first one being I continue to be a gag on social media. So the Socklukis thing, which is hilarious, by the way, I actually fully support the Socklukis thing. It is now a rallying cry for Southern Illinois fans, but I am now the butt of the joke because every time that they win and every time somebody posts this sock, I am now tagged in the picture of the sock with the googly eyes, which it's a good bit, but gotta hate Southern Illinois. They won. They beat Missouri State, which is infuriating because they dominated them 38-21. They're actually a good football team, despite my my chagrin and my disappointment and my anger.
Joe, you can't be a pirate if having a name on the seas scares you. Okay,
it doesn't scare me, but when people are throwing shots at you and cannonballs are being fired at you, you gotta scream back a little bit, don't you think?
Look. I am currently in the process of getting an interview one-on-one expose with the coach of Southern Illinois. So I'm going to try to lock it in.
Please. Are you actually? Can you please? That would actually, I won't be on the interview.
What I can do.
You need
I'll
to
see what I can do.
That would be fantastic content. And if all the questions are just about like the sock and then the curse, I think that would just,
he doesn't know who you are, which I'm going to talk about.
That's my point, is that he probably has no idea about any of this, and I want him to know because I think it would be really funny content. Besides the point, what were you saying?
No, look, I'm happy that they're trashing you because you should be trashed because you had 3 weeks of your ego being Colin, clip that. 15:48, clip it. You'll know what I'm talking about.
The timestamp's off because I got to edit out some internet problems.
He'll figure it out. Doesn't matter. Look. It makes me happy to watch you kind of fall on your face like this after being so adamant about your interviewing prowess and then all the weight that you hold on your shoulders when it comes to bringing coaches to the spotlight via Joe DeLeone, and their teams are going to be good if they talk to me. You're not Francesa and you're not Russo. All right.
I will be. I'm the next Mike Francesa. That's what
You're not getting Piazza to New York. That's what you're not doing.
Sean, second game. As I predicted, Weber blasted Eastern Washington.
Easy on the blasting.
45-21. It's not a blasting.
Easy on the blasting.
That's a 20-point victory, is it not, Jonathan? I believe that that is a large win. That's a large victory. Is that not a large victory?
I said easy on the blasting there.
Three scores? Is that what's a blasting? What's the definition of a blasting? Explain that to me, please.
Blasting is what my hands did to your head over the weekend. Just tagging you.
I get it. You're a little butthurt that you got this game wrong. I know that we have a lot of Eastern Washington fans, and I was high on Eastern Washington, but they have kind of disappointed so far this season in terms of the record. And this was like their first real opportunity because of a difficult start to the season with their schedule for them to prove themselves. And losing a game by 3 scores, man, that's not a good look.
Teams can sometimes lose by 3 scores. Okay. It can
not
happen.
When you're supposed to be a ranked team.
Look, it can happen.
Not when you're supposed to be a ranked team. Hey man, Weber is legit. Like we need to start talking about like
easy now.
No. That's not
easy.
There is no bias. Weber needs to be discussed as being back to where they were when we first started covering them in 2016.
You make one correct pick against me, and then that team
Can I have a
becomes
take?
the Cinderella story.
Can I have a
it
take?
becomes
Am
the
I allowed-
Cinderella story for Joe DeLeone.
Am I allowed to have a take based on how things
You can.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to just like kind of toe the line and be like,
the true.
Maybe they're good or not. It was just one game. Like I don't toe the line. I commit to a take, brother. That's what I'm doing here. And Weber's freaking good, dude.
You can commit to a take. I just know why you're committing to a take.
I'm committing to it because there's evidence to back it up. It has absolutely nothing to do with, my stance on anything or not. And they also did it without like anybody putting up any gaudy stats offensively. Like Josh Davis only had 32 yards. Damon Bankston had a really good game. Bronson Barron had a quality game, 16 for 22, 237 yards. A lot of it was a defensive performance, it looks like. So like, their defense came to play, brother, and they're going to keep coming to play the rest of the season.
Don't you brother me, brother.
What do you want me to call you, bitch?
Yeah.
Okay. Sean, last thing here before
sure
we get to fat stats. CELA, ranked Southeastern Louisiana team, lost to Texas A&M Commerce, who I guess is now a FCS team. I didn't know where they were in the transfer. Shows how little I care about Texas A&M Commerce. Can't lose those games. Can't lose those games if you're Southeastern Louisiana to a team that is in the process of moving up or recently moved up. You just can't.
I think you said it. I'll give you credit on this. After Cole Kelly left, and I think did the coach leave too? You said Cole Kelly and someone else.
Coach Selfo's still there.
Okay, well, you said after Cole Kelly leaves, this team's not going to be as good. And you're not lying. You were correct on that one, so I will give you your propers on that. So if you're losing to Texas A&M Commerce, can you just try not to lose to schools where people use their school name as an adjective or a verb of negative impact? Like, I understand the situation, okay? Saban said that they're not up in Rhode Island eating picnics after the game. So I was there. We've been there.
Yeah.
But don't just try your best not to lose to a commerce school.
I was trying to figure out where you were going.
You know what I'm
that.
saying?
That's great.
It actually used to be Incarnate Word. It would be one of those, and now Incarnate Word is just balling.
Just balling. Sean, can you share fat stats, and then we actually have a hack of the week. I think we have 2 hacks of the week technically, but I'll let you do fat stats here.
All right, let's get through it here. Big week for scoring in the FCS here. Let's kick it off here. Fordham quarterback Tim DeMorat, 26 for 37, 499, and let's just call it 500. 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Fordham wide receiver MJ Wright, 4 receptions, 226 yards, 2 touchdowns. Joe, if I'm correct, that is averaging, what is that, 57 yards a reception?
Sounds about right.
That is not going to be able to live this year. Kids graduate college obese. North Dakota State running back Tamarick Williams, 13 rushes, 145 yards, 3 touchdowns. Monmouth running back Jaden Sheridan, 19 rushes, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns. Valparaiso running back Aaron Dawson, 23 rushes, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns. ETSU running back Jacob Sailors, 29 rushes, 189 yards, and 3 touchdowns. UT Martin, wide receiver.
Oh, no. Can he get through it? Can he get through it?
Devontae Tanksley, 9 receptions, 220 yards. South Dakota State running back Isaiah Davis, 15 rushes, 108 yards, 3 touchdowns. Central Arkansas quarterback Will McElvain, 17 for 30, 341 yards, 5 passing touchdowns. Portland State quarterback Dante Chichiri, let's hope, 14 for 29, 280 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. And then capping it off, Incarnate Word quarterback Lindsey Scott.
There's no debate, dude, on this
20
one. Go ahead.
Let me finish the segment for once. Lindsey Scott.
You couldn't even finish the segment. You started
23 for 26, 401 yards, 7 touchdowns.
You're like choking halfway through and you're telling me not to.
I pray to God you start getting the ad reads again. I will be on your goofy ass.
Dude, there's no debate here. Dude, are you kidding me? 23 for 26, 401 and 7 touchdowns. Bro, what?
Fine,
That's a
then
Campbell
select it.
stat line.
Then select it.
I'm selecting it. There's no debate.
That's your selection?
Yeah.
I'm going Fordham wide receiver MJ Wright.
Hack.
That's not hack.
Okay,
You're a hack.
That's the end of Fat Stats. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah.
I have 3 hacks this week. We've got one that is a little more long form, 2 that are much shorter form. First of all, we're hack of the week because we haven't been doing hack of the week because we're underprepared every time we do the notes for the show. Second hack of the week is the Miami football sports information people and graphics department for not properly identifying that Fordham's Tim Damarat had more passing yards than Tyler Van Dyke, who sucks, when they posted a graphic that said he has the most passing yards against an FBS opponent this season. I hate Miami. You guys stink. Get your stats right. Tyler Van Dyke is not the best. Tim Damarat is instead.
Okay.
Sean, the last one. This one's a little more serious because I kind of like coaching drama.
Who doesn't?
And it's very entertaining. And when it happens with a big name like Deion Sanders, it becomes even more entertaining. There was an incident that happened during the Alabama State Jackson State game. Jackson State ends up winning by a few scores. I think it was like 27-12, 26-12, somewhere along those lines. Pretty easily beat them. Were accused of trying to run up the score with a backup quarterback in, all the great things. And after the game, Eddie Robinson Jr. Shook hands with Deion, and while Deion was trying to give him a hug, shoved them away, and then there was this whole big commotion. Now, the quote after the game asked about this said, well, to be up front, I thought it was a lot of disrespect the whole week. So you're not going to be disrespectful the whole week in the media. We didn't talk in the pregame. I was out there the whole time at the 50-yard line. He walked through our whole huddle in our end zone, came the long way around to get to his side of the field in the pregame. Thought that wasn't classy at all. In the postgame, I'm not about to give you the Obama bro hug. I'm going to shake your hand and go on. I'm always going to be respectful and respect the game. I'm living on the shoulders of the SWAC. He ain't the SWAC. I'm the SWAC. Now, there was a little bit more to this. You can't do all that stuff all week, then come in and put your backup quarterback in the game and run a hitch and go and try to put more points on the board. Shit was disrespectful. Game was out of hand. It was 26-12, 40 seconds left. We had no timeouts. Take a damn knee. Wanted to try to run a hitch and go, so we started blitzing. We're going to knock them out of the game too. That's how we got to play. It ain't no quarters given. You want to do that? Don't come and try to bro hug me like we're friends. We ain't friends. We don't shake my hand. You don't shake my hand before the game. Why do you want to shake my hand after the game, period? That's it. So I saw a video that somebody highlighted that Deion has like a pregame ritual where he kind of like walks around the outside and he comes all the way around up the sideline. And apparently he does that every single game. And you can actually see like fans and even players on Alabama State like shouting stuff at him, like saying stuff to him while he's doing this. So I think that claim is a little odd for him to get upset, but I'm calling Eddie Robinson the hack this week, Sean, because like you got beat. And
I'm calling them both hacks.
I'm not calling DeLeone a hack though. DeLeone didn't do anything wrong. You got beat. Like, grow up, man. Like you're getting beat out, and a better team is on the field, is out recruiting you, outperforming on a weekly basis. And this is the response. Like, this is how you respond to that.
I don't get the FCS the FCS conference or interconference teardown. They're both SWAC. DeLeone Sanders is super SWAC. Eddie is super SWAC. Everyone can be SWAC. Everyone's SWAC.
Right.
Obviously, some coaches may not like each other a little bit, but that doesn't mean you take shots like that. Like the FCS isn't fighting its own battle, especially the HBCUs on top of that. So when you're doing this, it looks like just not a great look. I mean, the hitch and go stuff, it sounds like a little bit of sore loser. It sounds like a little bit of also you didn't need to do hitch and go. You could have just been taking a knee.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
I let the hack share the wealth throughout the SWAC this week.
I don't know. I'm always in the belief that DeLeone can't do any wrong because of the way that he is building up that conference, the national attention to these games. Like there is a lot more of a scope on these games because DeLeone's coaching in this conference. Sure. And there's more kids that are being willing to not only go to Jackson State that are highly recruited, but also to go to other HBCU programs. Like, I just don't, like, you could construe it as disrespectful, but like, it's just DeLeone. Like, it's his personality. The guy has earned the right to be the way that he is. Like, that's his vibe. That's how he acts on a game-to-game basis. To
Sure.
get upset because you lost and then to like say he's being disrespectful, I think it's baseless. It's unwarranted.
I'm not gonna. You can't. I understand here. DeLeone apologist, and DeLeone can do no wrong. That's what you said. That's not where I stand.
Okay.
I don't think he really even did wrong. I'm just saying that it's. I'll give both parties some hack on this.